And as I've said before and will probably say again, breath ushers us into life and breath ushers us out of life.
Ouch.
When we breathe, we find a way to settle into the moment. I'm going to invite you, if you're not on mute, to do that now. That would be really appreciated, because every time a noise is made, the camera will go look at you, unless I'm spotlighted. Yeah. So as we settle in with our breath, I invite you to find a nice verticality to the spine. And it's helpful to sit a little bit forward on the chair to bring that about. So take your hand to your low back, maybe to the sacrum. That's that bony plate in the pelvis. Or maybe into the lumbar area. And maybe take both hands there and rest the hands in the low back area. And now we're going to breathe here. And imagine your breath filling the pelvic bowl. Imagine your breath filling the low back. Imagine your breath nourishing the sacrum. And as you breathe, notice your jaw. Can it relax just a little bit more? And with our hands behind us, we're going to breathe in, draw the shoulder blades together, lift the heart, and find a little more space in the low back. So our hands are resting on the low back. The elbows have drawn back a little bit. Shoulder blades are coming together. Now imagine the shoulder blades sliding down toward the waist to lift the heart just a little more. So as we're doing this, we have a tension in the low back. We're expanding through the low back, though. We're trying to avoid compression there. And we do that by lifting the heart. So release the hands. Let them rest gently on the seat of the chair. Breathe here. And now with the hands resting on the seat of the chair or holding the edge of the chair, we're going to lift the heart again. Shoulder blades are coming together, sliding down the back. The heart lifts so that there is an extension through the low back. If we let go of this for just a moment and relax, you might notice the low back or the vertebrae in the low back start to slide toward each other, maybe collapse a little bit. So we've been using the chair for help. Now what we're going to do is we're going to just see about lifting our heart. We rock forward a little bit on the sit bones. So we're coming forward just a little bit and we engage our belly here. And Mr. Pugsley's come to help the practice today. Now take the hands again to the chair, and I like the side of the chair. You can hold underneath the chair, or maybe even the hands come behind. We're lifting the heart, drawing the shoulder blades together. Again, the heart lifts. We're almost like we're lifting out of our pelvis. So we're working our shoulders here, and we're stretching in the low back. And we pause. I hope you remember to breathe throughout that cycle, because it's very easy when, especially when we're working low back things, to forget to breathe, because so many of us have a little bit of stress in the low back. Here we are though. We're feeling stress-free now. We're taking a breath in and a lovely long exhale. So one of the best supports for our back is our core. And I see some people on the call that worked yesterday at Mount Scott in the park where we did a lot of core work. We were working on boat pose. And so we're going to do a seated boat pose today. We're building toward boat pose. So when we're back together on the floor, we'll be strong in our core to do boat. We're going to begin with our right leg, and we're going to just lift that foot off the floor. And we're going to extend the same arm to the sky, or if shoulders want, straight out of the shoulder. We're pausing here. Now we're bringing the other arm up and release the first arm down. And now for just a whole bunch of fun, we're extending that leg any amount and both arms come up. Breathe here. One more breath. And then everything relaxes down. So you may have noticed when we were doing this that there's a rock back, a little bit of a rock back. When we're going backwards, so do this with me, when we rock backwards, we want to maintain an elevated heart, because if we slump down, we're putting a lot of undue pressure in the low back. So we want to keep the heart up. We're going to switch legs now. It's the left leg, and now that knee comes up and we pause here and extend the left arm either to the ceiling or straight out of the shoulder joint. We're going to bring that other arm up and release the first arm. Breathe here. So now we release that left arm and we're just working with the right arm. And now we're going to bring both arms up and we extend the leg. Breathe here, 3 breaths. And you know, you can extend the leg by just bringing the heel to the floor. You don't have to lift it up. We're encouraging our core to be activated here, and then we're going to release back down. We're going to come to standing now. So bring your feet back, let the heels drop, head comes up last. We're coming to standing. And we pause here. And we're going to do that practice again. Now, standing. So this is a balance practice. Maybe having a chair where you can just touch your hand down, or you can put the chair in front of you if you'd rather. Excuse me, Mr. Pugsley. Your choice if balance is an issue. So now we're coming back to that right leg, and we're going to lift the knee up any amount. And again, you can be on tippy toes. Bring the same arm up, either at the shoulder or above the head. Switch arms. So we're doing strength and balance. And then we come back with both arms and extend that leg any amount. Now draw the belly button in and lift the heart. And the arms can be in front if that's more comfortable. And then we come back to the mat. We're switching sides. We're coming now to the left side, and we start by lifting that knee. Any amount, again, tippy toes down as needed. We're working abdominals. We lift the arm on the same side. We lift the arm on the other side and release the first arm. And then we're going to bring both arms up and extend the leg. Any amount, again, heel can be down, toe can be down. I'm resting on my dog. And then we come back to the mat and we pause here and let's shake that out. Working around the dog. We're going to take our hands into our back pockets now. I have back pockets today. Or pretend back pockets. We're coming into an anterior tilt. So we're bringing the pelvis forward. The knees are soft. We're bringing the pelvis forward. We're creating a little bit of a back bend here. Remember, we've been doing back bends today. And to really activate that lift to the heart and then press the pelvis forward. Breathe here, 3 breaths. Feel your way into the hip flexors that are stretching here. Keep the knees soft. Then we're going to take the right side of the pelvis and we're going to press it forward, turn the torso, turn the head to look over the shoulder. So that right knee comes forward a little bit. It's bent and we're finding another stretch into our hip flexors. Breathe here. And then we come back to center. Again, our knees are soft. Our pelvis is pressing forward. We lift our heart to take the contraction out of the low back. And now we're taking a twist to the left. So the left side of the pelvis comes forward. The heart and the chest turn. We look over that back shoulder. We're going to breathe here. 3 big, beautiful breaths. And then we come back to center and we're coming back to our beginning posture, that anterior tilt, and we're breathing 3 breaths here. Now lift the heart again. And in this posture, you're probably going to notice the hip flexors, but can you feel the abdominal muscles as they engage here? And then we bend the knees slightly and we shake it out, coming forward a wee bit. Maybe the feet are a little wider than the pelvis. We're going to slide the hands down the thighs, bring the chest parallel to the floor. Soft knees, hang out here, release the head. So just let go of the head. To rise out of this, the knees are really nicely bent here. We release the arms and now draw the belly button up and in as we bring the arms forward. Our knees are nice and bent. We're slowly rising up. We're taking our time to do this. And then when the legs are straight, arms float down, we step or hop our feet together. And then we're going to pause again. Using a chair, so you can bring your chair to the front of your mat, have the back of the chair facing your body. I'm going to have to move my little guy. There you go. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to step back into a version of down dog. So this is dog on a chair. And the sits bones lift to the sky and the head comes between the upper arms and we feel the hamstrings light up. This is also the kitchen sink stretch. So if you're at your kitchen sink, you can plant your hands over the lip of the sink and find this stretch. Coming back up, we're going to hinge forward. And we're coming to the top of a plank. Maybe we lower ourselves about an inch, keep the elbows close to the rib cage, and then press ourselves back up, scoot back into dog. Breathe here. And then we come forward again. We're coming into plank on the chair. Keep the elbows near the rib cage as we lower, maybe an inch. And then we come back up and back into dog. So those of you who've been in my class, you're familiar with this on the floor. Now we're learning it on a chair. This time, draw the belly up and in. Feel the abdominal muscles here. And then press back and come to standing. Taking the hands behind the sacrum, we're interlacing the fingers, and we're going to hinge forward. We're going to sweep our arms up any amount. That means they may rest on the sacrum, or maybe they come up a little bit. Release the head in this posture. It's going to want to look around. Strain on the neck, not our friend. We pause here. And to rise out of this, bend the knees. Release the hands, fingertips point to the floor. We're in the bottom of a forward fold with bent knees, and we're going to turn this into chair. So to do that, we press into the floor with the feet, and we gently rise up, arms extending in front of us as we come to vertical. And now we're going to take those interlaced hands in front of us, flip them away. This may be enough. If you'd like a little more, lift the heart, draw the shoulder blades together, engage the abdominal muscles as we raise the arms any amount. So for some of us, it's going to be over the head. For some of us, it's going to be to a lesser degree. Every variation is appropriate depending on where your body is today. And then we simply release the hands and we fold forward just to the knees. Sweep the arms open. We rise, and this time we fold to our shins. And then one more time we sweep up. And we fold to the floor and bend the knees deeply as needed to touch the floor. When we're on the floor, where everybody's bending the knees. And now on the next in-breath, fingertips point toward the floor. We press into the floor and we're rising up through Utkatasana. This is called fierce pose because it really fires the body up. And we're rising all the way to the top. And when we get here, we're going to take a bend to the right and back to center. And again, as we're taking the bend, can you keep the heart lifted, the spine long, and keep that constriction or compression out of the low back? Come back to center, arms float down, and we make our way back into our chair. We started our practice today with our breath, and then we moved into holding the edge of the chair and creating a little back bend by lifting our heart and making space in our low back. So let's come back to that. So holding on under the chair or on the braces of the chair, or even a little higher on the chair. Remember, shoulder blades together, slide them down the back. And the heart is lifted, the belly's tucked in. Our breath is moving. So many moving pieces here, right? And relax, resting the hands once again on the low back or on the sacrum. Bring your breath here. And imagine the breath filling the entire pelvis. Imagine the breath bathing the sacrum, bathing the hip joints with life-giving prana or life force. Imagine the breath moving into all of the places that feel tight in our pelvic girdle. Let the jaw be soft as we release, extending the arms, thumbs to the sky. We're going to turn the arms back. Thumbs go behind us and the heart lifts. And now the palms turn down, the thumb turns down, the chin comes to chest, and we create a nice cat arch between the shoulder blades. So we're really pressing in between the shoulder blades to create a nice external curve. And then one more time, we're coming back to neutral, back to the first open posture. Heart is lifted, belly is engaged, breath moves, and the low back is liberated here because our heart is lifted, our rib cage is lifted. And then we come back to neutral. We pause here in Shavasana. So we take a moment to gentle our breathing. Feel our feet on the ground beneath us. And soften in to the experience of being present just now. Today's poem is by Wendell Berry, called The Peace of Wild Things. When despair for the world grows in me, and I awake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought or grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time I rest in the grace of the world and am free. The Peace of Wild Things by Wendell Berry. We live in a time of extraordinary stress. And the greatest gift we can give ourselves is to remember our breath, to come back to the breath over and over again. Wendell Berry found his peace in nature, and I know many of us do. And it really behooves us, we who know that it is important to stay present in a loving consciousness, to really do everything we can to come back to our center, to come back to where the still waters rest, and rest in the still waters. We open our arms and we gather all the blessings that already exist, and we draw them in appreciation and gratitude into our hearts. And with a little smile on our face, together we say namaste, namaste.